Alright, what's up everybody? It's your boy Gritty Chevlon and we're back with another video. First time in a long time I've posted. I've just been super busy, things been hectic. But yeah, so we're back. Now, am I gonna be posting more consistently, even though this is my first video in almost a year? Nah, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I will not be posting consistently, if I'm being honest. There might be a chance where I might not get another video out of me for another year. So making content is not on the forefront for me anymore. But when I do have, I'm gonna make a better effort when I do have free time to just try and make some videos, drop some stuff. So hopefully with it being summer, I can get something else out pretty soon. Maybe a lick breakdown, who knows? I know you guys really like those, but we'll see. But let's get to the topic of today's video, and that is my top 3 music softwares that I like to use to write my drumline music. I'm gonna go through the pros, the cons, things that I like, things that I don't like, basically, and just basically just give you a little backstory how I found those apps. And just again, this is my personal opinion, how I feel about these apps. If you use similar apps and you feel differently about them, it's all good. We're all open to opinions over here. And if you see me, wiping my face a lot, it's because it is hot as it's hot here in South Florida, man. I don't know who turned the heat up on us, but it's ridiculously hot this summer. It's almost like it's probably touching like 95 degrees right now. So if you see me wiping my face a lot, it's because it's super hot. Before we get to my top 3, I do have an honorable mention, and that is Flat.io. So Flat, I think I discovered this app around like 2018, 2019. And this is a really it's a really dope app. And I mean really dope. You can write literally, and not just drumline music, but you can write full like band scores, ensemble scores on this thing on your phone, and it's super easy to use. It's really dope. The only reason why it's an honorable mention, and it's because for the longest, the drum playback was absolutely garbage. I'm so serious. It was bad. It was bad. Like, the drum playback was really bad, and I just couldn't use the app because it was just that bad. Even though it was convenient, it had a lot of great features, the drum playback was not it, y'all. And just to show y'all, I'm gonna show you one with, the original drum playback first, and then I'm gonna show y'all the drum playback that they've like the new sounds that they've added to the app, because they have made a lot of updates. 9-day difference. So if the app, honestly, and I'm being so honest, if they had those sounds at that time, I probably would have been using this app like crazy, because it's honestly my number 2 that I use a lot. It's similar to that, but it does have some better features. But because I haven't used this app in a while, because again, the drum playback, it was just so bad. The OG, as y'all can see on the video, was like super digitized, but now they made some updates, so I'll be using that app a lot more moving forward, because again, they made some serious updates, and they made strides to help us percussion guys have a better sound. But all right, so that's enough of that. Let's get into number 3, and number 3 is Noteflight. Now, Noteflight is the first like music software I ever used. My instructor, Charles, shout out to Charles, from high school, he put me onto this app first, and I was using it for like many years. Dope app, super easy to use, really good playback, not the best, not like the best. It still has a little bit of that digital, like computerized drum sound, but still really dope though, still really good. But yeah, it's a really solid app. like I said, easy to use. And probably one of the another pro about it is it's a website. So, I know with some softwares, there's the fear of if something happens to your computer or if it crashes or anything that nature, and you don't have everything properly saved, you could lose all your scores. With this, that's not the case. It's all on a website. You don't have to worry about, you don't have to necessarily worry about stuff like that. For sure, this is like a really dope app. If you have that fear of losing your music, you don't have to worry about it. Now, those are some of the pros. Cons. Unfortunately, and this is also similar with Flat as well, there is a monthly payment that you have to make. I don't know how much it is now. I know when I was using it, because just for clarification, I have not used No Flight in like 3 years because my number 2 and my number 1 overtook it. So yeah, and that's mainly because the monthly payment, paying, I think it was like at the time $7.99, $8.99 a month. There is a deal where you can do like a lifetime, and pay like $280 something, something like that, to get it for free for a lifetime, which it's like, I mean, cool, I guess, but that's probably the only real con. Like, you have to pay payments to use it, and if you want to use it for free forever, you gotta pay almost $300, which is like, for some people, that's like, oh, it's nothing crazy. Some people, if you're balling like that, cool. Me personally, not so much. So, that's one of the only cons. Like I said, the other con, the drum playback is a little more computerized and digitized. Still really good, still rock with it, but it's a little digitized. It still has that computer generated sound, and you guys will see at the end. I'm gonna like do examples of each software so you can see what you're getting into when you use them. But yeah, that's only the real major cons with the app. With that software, it's just the drum playback's not the best, and again, you have to make payments to use it. So that's number 3. Now number 2, we get to drum tools. So drum tools, I started using drum tools in 2019. So when I was looking around for another drumline app that's on a phone that you can use, I stumbled across this and I started using it. And at the time, the only like percussion instruments that was available was drum set, marching snare drum, and concert snare drum. And you wrote a lot of snare licks on there. I started this thing on my drum page called 4-bar licks, and I would just write 4-bar snare drum licks on this app on Drum Tools, and just post it on my page, and guys will learn it. So here's a quick little example of that, just so you guys can see. So as you can see, snare drum playback is really realistic, and you can definitely tell the developer of this app, which I believe his name is Jared Simon, took the time to get on the snare drum and just record actual snare drum sounds, because it sounds like an actual marching snare drum recording on there. So that's really dope. So the playback is really like solid on this. Even though I really like the snare drum playback sounds, I was just like, I just don't have a need for this. So got rid of it just to free up space on my phone. Fast forward to 2021, summer 2021, got a new phone, re-downloading apps, and when I'm re-downloading some stuff, I noticed Drum Tools made some updates, and they said now you can write full drumline scores on there. So I was like, okay, let me check this out. And now in 2019 it was free, I guess, because of the updates the developer it was $4.99, by the way, not $499, right? I know some of y'all gonna think this man spent $500 for a drumline app. It's crazy. Like I said, I'm not balling like that, so I'm not doing that. But yeah, so spent $4.99 on that, and I can definitely say money well spent. I've been using that app ever since, and I have not stopped using it. That summer alone, once I started getting on it and I realized like just how effective this thing is, I wrote our entire marching band show for that fall on there. I wrote our Florida Classic drill on there, like the percussion parts for all that stuff. Our spring drumline competition music, I wrote everything on there as well. And so that app really is just the convenience of it, having a quality drumline notation app on your cell phone that you can literally just use anytime, any place. And again, it's going to be quality music. It has a good playback. It has really good playback sounds. It's just hard. It's kind of hard to beat that. So that's why I really rock with that app heavy. It's just the convenience of it, and it's just dope. So those are some of the pros with Drum Tools. Now there are a few cons. Con number one, and there's really just four that kind of stick out. Con number one is it is only made for Apple products. What I mean by that, and what I mean, be more specific, iOS devices. So if you don't have an iPad or a tab or iPhone, don't know why I forgot. I'm bugging right now. It's probably this heat that's getting to me. But if you can't use an iPhone or an iPad, you can't use this app. So if you have like a Samsung and Android, it's not compatible with those apps at all. It is iOS only. So that's a little bit of a bummer there. The tuplet feature is a little weird and difficult to use if you don't fully understand tuplets like that. So with No Flight, it was super easy to go back to that. It was just super easy to use tuplets on that. All you have to do was just press the note you want to put the tuplet on, press whatever tuplet you want. So say if you want to do 5-lets, press the note, press 5-let, or press 5, on your keyboard, and boom, 5-let. And also, if you just didn't want to do that, you want to be more specific, on the palette, you would just go to the tuplet feature, press the tuplet you need, and boom, there you go. Whereas Drum Tools, you kind of have to do more of this weird thing where you have to make it a 5/2 or maybe a 5/3 to get the exact rhythmic, to make sure it's rhythmically accurate to what you want. And again, if you don't really understand tuplets to that nature, it can be very confusing to use that feature. So that's the only real weird thing about the app that's kind of a brain twister, if that makes sense. Now, the other major issue I need to talk about is the buzz rolls. For some reason, and this is more recent, the buzz roll for some reason, and buzzes in general, for some reason, it sounds like this, no matter how you phrase it. So if you want to, say for example, I write this, right? It's still going to sound like that. And say for example, I write this on a beat, right? The next beat after that, and it could be something like this, right? It will literally play this over this. So yeah, that's a little annoying. I don't know why that's the case now. It wasn't like that before, but for some reason it is. So if the developer, Mr. Jared Simon, if you're watching this, please fix it. The other con with Drum Tools is the no dynamics at all. What I mean, there's no dynamics, you can't add any. So your mezzo pianos, pianissimos, fortes, fortissimos, all that good stuff, crescendos, decrescendos, you can't add any of it. It's a little bit annoying. I wish that would get fixed. I'm hoping if the developer is watching this, that's something that eventually does get corrected, because I think once that does get corrected, I feel like that's just going to take the app to the next level, because not being able to put dynamics in these cadences is a little annoying when you want to do something, be a little more musical with what you're writing. And so that's one of the only things I can definitely say. I'm just I wish it had this. So last couple of pros before I move on for Drum Tools. Another one is Great Snow playback is spot on. Your actual flam rudiments are going to sound like flam rudiments. So if you play, because some of these other apps, and this was an issue that Flat still has now, even with the updates they made, you'll literally play a flam on Drum Tools and it's a flam. Whereas some of these other apps, it will sound like you're playing 2 30-second notes. So you'll have, say for example, you play a flam accent, it's going to sound like that. Whereas something like flat, it's going to sound like for some reason. I don't know why. And my number one has the same issue too, but we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, Graysnow playback's really dope. But overall, this app, why I love it so much is just the convenience of it. Again, just you can have a quality drumline writing app that you can use whenever, wherever. And again, you can have an idea that literally pop into your brain right there. Like you could be at the mall minding your business. And you know, drummers, ideas just pop in our brain. It's like, oh, that's dope. Pull out the phone and just get to writing. My number one, hands down, by far, no questions asked, is MuseScore. And I'm pretty sure almost 90% of you guys who are watching this video uses this app. So MuseScore, number one, the first major pro is it's free 99, no payments, no nothing. You literally don't have to pay anything to use this app. The other apps that I mentioned, Flat, No Flight, Drum Tools, all those features that you like about those, that if for anybody who's used any one of them, it's all on MuseScore, and it's better, and it's free. You can't beat that. You can't beat a top-notch music composition app, or software in this case, and it's completely free. I just started using MuseScore last year, and the main reason why is because I never had a computer that was strong enough to use it. I had this old desktop in my house for the longest, and when I downloaded MuseScore one time, it wrecked it. The firewall got jacked, and some viruses got in it, and they had to get it fixed, and it was just, my peoples had to get it fixed. Oh my gosh, it was bad. So after that, it just deterred me from ever using MuseScore. I just stuck with No Flight for the longest, and Drum Tools, and I used to just use Drum Tools and No Flight together. Then last year, invested in getting myself a MacBook, and I said, all right, let me finally get MuseScore. And it was the perfect time too, because they just came out with the Muse drumline with all the Blue Devil sounds and whatnot. And it's safe to say I was so happy I made that investment. My only con with MuseScore is the Graysnow playback is a little jacked up. That's my only con. I don't know why. Again, it goes back to what I said before. With Note Flight and Drum Tools, Graysnow playback perfectly fine. Your flam rudiments are going to sound like actual flams. But with MuseScore, for some reason, they're going to sound like this. Again, it's going to sound like two 30-second notes. I don't know why. If I'm very new to MuseScore. I've only been using it for a year. If anybody knows how to fix that, please put it in the comment and let me know, because I don't know how to fix that. Like I said, it's all the pros are there with MuseScore. It's completely free, playbacks, all the sounds are there. One of the cool things is if you want to be a little fancy and pay a little extra money, you can pay for the virtual drumline VDL from Tapspace. They use the 2000s era of Santa Clara Vanguard when it was Murray Gussick working with them, and Jim Casella, had to mention him as well. They were the two developers of that app, and it's completely compatible with MuseScore, and it sounds great. I would even argue sounds even better than the Muse drumline sounds, and that's saying something because the Muse drumline sounds are just impeccable. All right, and that's it for my top three. So what I'm gonna play 3 pieces from each app. Then it's not the same piece. I just didn't feel like doing all that, writing the same piece over and over again. It's just 3 pieces. Each are different from each app, and just so you can get an idea of how well and how effective these apps are, and just get an idea of what you're gonna get yourself into when you start using it. So go ahead and take a listen. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. So that's the end of the video. Thanks for joining. Please, again, I don't know when the next time I'll be posting. Hopefully I'll post another video this summer before I get back into band camps in late July. But other than that, if I don't, please check my Instagram page out. That's where I'm at mostly. And if you can, subscribe, like this video, share it. And again, last thing I'm gonna leave y'all with, this is my opinion on these apps. These are the apps that I like to use. If there's anything that you like, that you guys use, that you want to suggest, put it in the comments. Sure, I'll definitely like to see what you guys use. Who knows, maybe I'll like it too. So other than that, I hope you all enjoy the rest of y'all summer, and deuces.